And when I was growing up, one of the things that I really wanted to be was a professional wrestler. I thought that would be really cool. I grew up watching professional wrestling with my grandpa on Saturday mornings. It was so cool. I loved it. I loved Hulk Hogan, brother. This is Hulk Hogan. I loved Macho Man Randy Savage snap into a Slim Jim. I loved all of that. And let me recap just a little bit where we've been. We've been talking about Jacob, okay, whose name means the deceiver. It also means the grabber, which both of those things would make a really good name for a professional wrestler. Ladies and gentlemen, the grabber. And here's Jacob. He's messed up big time. He has told this huge lie to his father in order to get something that rightfully belonged to his brother. He's ripped his brother off. He's stolen a birthright. He's stolen a blessing. And now he runs. And he hides out kind of from his brother for about 20 years. And finally, right before he's going to be reunited with his brother, it's late at night. He's by himself. And he meets this strange man, and here they are late at night, and as dudes do frequently, when they meet each other and encounter each other in the dark, and don't know each other, and they're far away from anywhere, they started wrestling. And he starts wrestling with this strange man. And evidently, Jacob's a pretty good wrestler because he doesn't give up. And he's wrestling this guy. And the mystery mauler even dislocates Jacob's hip. And he still doesn't give up. He's still wrestling. He is still hanging in there. And it turns out that the mystery wrestler is God. And he gives Jacob a blessing. Jacob finally gets a blessing of his own. He doesn't have to steal it, doesn't have to lie in order to get it. He gets it from God. And he gets a new name. He gets a new identity. God gives him a new name. Let me read it to you. It's in Genesis chapter 35, verse 10. And it says this, "Your name is Jacob, but you will no longer be known as Jacob. Israel will be your name." Okay? All of a sudden, he is given a new name. He's not no longer in Jacob. He's now Israel. Israel means he who wrestles with God. Wow, how cool is that? God didn't give up on Israel. He didn't give up on Jacob. He hung in there with him, even during the times when Jacob was wrestling with God, even during the times when Jacob was struggling with God and putting up a fight and not surrendering to God's plan. Okay, the same grandpa that I grew up with, the same grandpa that I used to watch wrestling with, we would wrestle, okay, and he was a big deal for him. He'd put us in a headlock and he'd be like, "Come here," and put us in a full Nelson, and he'd hold us there, and he'd be like, "Yeah, look, I'm still tougher than you are, even though I'm old," and he'd hold us in a headlock until we said the word calf rope. Okay, I don't know why. It was just a weird grandpa deal. It was kind of like saying uncle or I surrender. And he'd put us in this headlock and he'd be like, "What are you going to say? What are you going to say?" And it'd be like, and finally we would say calf rope and he'd let us go. And a lot of times as I've gotten older, I've realized that there have been times when my life has been a senseless struggle. There have been times when I've turned my life into a struggle when it didn't really have to be. There's been times when I've kind of wrestled against God and wrestled against His plan and thought that I had it figured out and thought that I knew better. And it just simply... It was silly. I need to just surrender to His plan. I need to say calf rope. I need to say uncle. And just say, okay, I give up, Lord. I surrender to you. I surrender to your plan. Because it's a lot bigger and better than anything I can devise. It is unimaginably better than anything I can think up in my mind. And so that's my challenge to you guys today. Just stop wrestling. And start enjoying the grace of God. Start enjoying the goodness of God. Start enjoying His plan for you. Not always going to be easy, but it's what's best. God bless you. Giddy up.